Example 1 for solving equations with variables on both sides. The equation is 4x plus 6 equals x. So the first thing I'm going to do again is put a line down the equal sign. And then I'm going to rewrite the equation. And instead of just putting x, I'm going to put 1x just so I remember that's what it means. And then I have to see which of the x's is smaller. 4x, 1x. Alright, 1x is smaller, so that's the x that I want to move. Alright, again, we move it by doing the opposite. The opposite of plus 1x is minus 1x. And whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. And 4x minus 1x is 3x. Bring down the 6 plus 6, remember the sign, equals. And then 1x minus 1x is 0. Right. Now, it's just like a regular two-step equation. Cover the x. What do I want to get rid of, the 3 or the 6? The 6 is lonelier because it's by itself, so I'm going to get rid of it. The opposite of plus 6 is minus 6. And whatever I do to one side, I do to the other side. And that'll get me 3x. The 6's cancel out. And 0 minus 6 is negative 6. Cover the x again. Get rid of the 3. Remember, a number next to a letter is multiplication. So I have to do the opposite, which is division. And whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. 3 divided by 3 cancels out, leaves me x. And negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. Right. So 4x plus 6 equals x. I'm going to check that. So I have 4 times negative 2 plus 6 equals negative 2. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8 plus 6 equals negative 2. Signs are different. We subtract. 8 minus 6 is 2. Keep the sign of the larger number. So that's negative 2. Negative 2 equals negative 2. That checks. So for the equation 4x plus 6 equals x, the answer is x equals negative 2. Example 2 for solving equations with variables on both sides. Solve 9b minus 6 equals 5b plus 18. So again, I look at the equal sign, I put my line down the equal sign, and then I look at the b's, 9b and 5b. I always try to move the smaller one just because it seems to make things easier for me. So 5b is smaller. I do the opposite, which is subtracting 5b. Whatever I do on one side, I have to do on the other side. 9b minus 5b is 4b. Bring down the negative 6 or subtract 6. 5b minus 5b cancels out or is 0. And then I could just bring down the 18. Alright. Cover up the b. I have to get rid of the 4 or the subtract 6. The subtract 6 is lonelier, so I'm going to get rid of that one first. Opposite of subtract 6 is add 6. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. 6 minus 6 cancels out. I bring down the 4b. And then 18 plus 6 is 24. Cover the b again. Have to get rid of the 4. I remember 4b means times. So the opposite of times is divide. So I have to divide both sides by 4. 4 divided by 4 cancels out, leaves me b. And 24 divided by 4 is 6. So for the equation 9b minus 6 equals 5b plus 18, b is equal to 6. I'm going to check that by plugging it back in. So 9 times 6 minus 6 equals 5 times 6 plus 18. Do my multiplication first. 9 times 6 is 54 minus 6. 5 times 6 is 30 plus 18. 54 minus 6 is 48. And 30 plus 18 is 48. And 48 is equal to 48. So again, for the equation, 9b minus 6 equals 5b plus 18. The solution is b equals 6.
Equations with variables on both sides. This is an example of an equation with variables on both sides of the equal sign, blank. To solve an equation, the blank must be on the same side of the equal sign. Move one of the variables by using the blank blank property. In the first blank, put an example of an equation with variables on both sides of the equal sign. In the second blank, tell me what must be on the same side of the equal sign in order to solve the equation. And in the third and fourth blank, tell me which property you need to use in order to move the variables onto one side of the equation.